All right, muchachos. This video we're going to talk about how to tell time in Spanish. It's a little bit longer because there's a lot of moving parts here that we need to talk about. Now, the first thing is that I'm going to teach you the very proper way to tell time in Spanish. But most, especially now that we have so many digital, oh, that's not even a digital one, but you know, you look at your phone and it just has the numbers there. So that most people just use that now. They'll just say the numbers. So if you ask somebody, ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? They'll just look at their watch and be like, 2:40. And that's becoming more and more common now. But still, you'll see in a lot of the textbooks, you'll still see where they use this old-fashioned, this proper way of doing it. Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 different scenarios. The first scenario is if it's exactly on the hour. So it's that like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or whatever it is. So we're going to do, let's do like 4 o'clock and then we'll do 1 o'clock. Okay. So no minutes involved, just the hour. So for 4 o'clock, you say son las 4. And for 1 o'clock, you say es la 1. So if you'll notice this one, this goes back to our discussion on singular versus plural. Because it's 1 o'clock, 1 is singular, we do es and la. Because for every other hour, we would do son las and then put in the number. So if it's 7 o'clock, son las 7. 11 o'clock, son las 11. So this would be the same for all of them, and then we would just change the number. Okay? So that's the first scenario. It's exactly on the hour. There, we don't have any minutes involved. Okay? Now, for scenarios where we have, where our minutes are between 1 and 30, then we're going to use E. We're going to add minutes. We're going to do the hour just like we did up here, but then we'll add some minutes. We'll use E and then just put in however many minutes it is. So let's do 9, 10, and we'll do 1 o'clock again. Let's do 1:15. Okay? Okay. So again, for this one, we're still going to say the hour. Son las 9. And then we're going to put E, and then we have to add the minutes. 10. Okay? For 1 o'clock, again, we do es la 1. E, 15. That's for 15. Sorry, let me spell it correctly. 15. Or you could also say cuarto. And again, that goes real old-fashioned. That's a quarter past the hour. That would be a quarter of an hour is 15 minutes because a full hour is 60. So that'd be a quarter. Okay? And then again, as the times change, so let's say, for example, instead of 9:10, we have 10:05. So this would stay the same. We would change this to 10. We change the hour to 10, and then we would add the minutes would be 5. So that's 15. Okay? Okay, so now we have our 2 scenarios, exactly on the hour, and then any minutes between 1 and 30. Okay? Also, let's do 30 real quick. So let's do 2:30. Son las 2 y... Now, 30, the number 30 would be 30. But that's also half of an hour, right? So you could say 2:30. Either one is fine, whichever one you want to use. They both work, so either one is okay. But you'll see them use different ones in the book. So that way you're aware that media is another word for 30. When we're dealing with time, because time is 60 minutes, remember, so media, half of that would be 30. Cuarto would be 15. But we're dealing with money, cuarto is 25 cents, right? A quarter of a dollar. Okay, so those are our first 2 scenarios. Those are pretty straightforward. The third scenario is a little more tricky. But I'll show you a trick on how to get the right numbers, okay? So our last scenario is when the time is between the minutes, right? Whatever hour it is, we already know how to do that. But when the minutes are between 31 and 59. So if you look on a clock, right, if as the minute hand comes down here to the bottom, right, at the 6, as it starts working its way back up to the top, then you know that's when we're dealing with this. All right. Now, here's how I teach my students to come up with the right numbers, and I think of it. Oh, sorry. We're gonna use the word menos to do these, which means minus. So we're actually gonna say the next hour and then tell them how many minutes you need to subtract to get to the current time. Okay? And I don't know if you've ever heard anybody say this when they're telling time. Well, they'll say till. They'll use the word till, and they'll say like 20 till 2. Right? And that really means 20 minutes until 2 o'clock. It's a quarter till noon, right? They'll say the time using that word till, and if you can do that, then that's going to give you the numbers you're going to need to tell the time in Spanish using menos. Okay, so menos is kind of like our till. It tells us how many minutes, or it tells us the next hour, and then we got to subtract off some minutes. So let's do 6:45, and we will do 12:50. How about that? Okay. Again, so here's what I want you to do. To get the right numbers, you're going to need to say this time. Actually, let me erase this. We'll put that one down there in just a second. Let's do this one first. So we're going to say this time using till. So we have 15, or in English you say quarter, till 7. Okay? So those are the numbers we need. We need quince or cuarto, and then we need the hour we're going to use is 7. But remember, in Spanish, the hour always goes first. Okay, so we got to flip these when we actually write it in Spanish. So we're going to say son las 7 menos quince or cuarto. Can I fit it in? There we go. Okay. All right. So we still say the hour, but it's not really 7 o'clock. So if you go back to the time we're trying to say, it's not 7. So that's not true. So we have to subtract this many minutes off to get to the actual time it is now. Okay? All right. So let's do, what do we have, 12:50? Is that what we said? 12:50. So we're going to say it's 10 minutes till 1 o'clock. And again, remember the hour always comes first. So you're going to say es la una. That's how we say 1 o'clock. We're going to subtract off some minutes. Menos. How many minutes until 1? 10. So we're going to say 10. Okay? That is that. So again, figure out which scenario it is, and it's all based on the number of minutes. So if there are no minutes involved, you just do the hours. Es la una or son las, whatever hour it is. Okay? If it's between 1 and 30, you're going to add. So say the hour and then add however many number of minutes it is. Those are usually pretty straightforward. When we get to this one where we're starting to head up towards the next hour, then we have to use this menos. Okay? And again, if you can come up with this in your mind, just think of the time like an old man would say it. Oh, it's 7:15. Those are the numbers you're going to need. Okay? And then just flip them, put the hour first. Subtract that many number of minutes. Okay? All right. The last thing we need to cover is how we say AM and PM. So in English, sometimes we'll say like, hey, let's get together at 8 o'clock on Saturday. And you're like, is that AM or PM? Because I'm not getting up that early. So you got to make sure, and we say other things like in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening. Okay? So we have to clarify what that means. As far as the AM and the PM goes. So for AM, so this is from midnight till noon the next day. Anytime you have AM, you just add to the end of it de la mañana. Okay? So any AM, that works for all the AMs. From, 1 in the morning, 1 AM to 11 in the morning. They all say de la mañana. PM, we have two different ones. So if we're going to do afternoon, we add de la tarde. And if we're going to say evening or night, evening, comma, night, we add de la noche. Again, just to clarify, so we know there's no there's no confusion as to what time, whether that 6 is in the morning or whether it's in the evening. Okay? Okay. Last thing we need to talk about. This is when we are, this question here is asking about, we are asking the question, what time is it right now? But sometimes we want to know the time of something else. Okay? So, we're going to change, let me change the question then. Instead of a qué hora es, we're going to say, instead of qué hora es, we're going to say a qué hora es. A qué hora es. And then usually you'll add in whatever it is you want to know the time of. So, a qué hora es el baile? What time is the dance? A qué hora es la clase? What time is class? Okay? So this little ah in front is now we're asking about something, the time of something that's in the future. Okay? All right, so this is how we answer it. We have, for our normal answers, we'd say, like for 1 o'clock, we say es la una, and then we finish that off, whatever it is, okay? And for the other hours, we say son las, whatever the number. And then again, if we do the E or the menos or whatever we have to do. So here's all you have to do to answer the a qué hora es, is you just take out the S and the son and change them to a. So you have a la una or a las, whatever time it is, okay? That's it. So again, we're asking about something that's going to happen. What time is the dance? ¿A qué hora es el baile? El baile es a las 8. All right? So again, this little ah here. Just if the question has the ah in there, then get rid of the S and the son and put an ah in your answer. All right. I think that's about it on time.